師毅行者原本係駐港啹喀兵嘅訓練活動，首屆喺1981年舉行。4個人一隊嘅參加者需要喺48小時之內，由西貢北潭涌行到元朗大棠，完成100公里麥理浩徑同其他接續路段。
我自己咧都參加咗樂施毅行者咧有4次，每一次嘅參與咧，每一次嘅挑戰，亦都係幫到世界上需要我哋幫嘅人。
我哋估計每年有超過2-3萬人參加，係幫樂施會全球嘅樂施會籌億幾嘅港幣嘅捐款啦，可以幫到各地嘅人士咯。
樂施毅行者咧，咁係全香港最大型嘅一個嘅體育嘅活動。咁係當然咁嘅成功咧，就係最緊要都係靠所有嘅參與者啦。但係佢背後咧係有好多支援隊伍啦，同埋所有嘅義工。
歡迎大家出席樂施毅行者2018。
We all participate in this game before. I'm second time, third time.
This is my 21st time.
First time on the trail. This is not my idea of Hong Kong.
除咗呢個毅行者自己本身之外咧，我哋都有成3000名嘅唔同嘅紀律部隊或者係制服團隊，用佢哋自己嘅時間義工嚟參與做我哋嘅支援嘅。
我諗樂施會嗰個理念係好重要，就係即係要堅持，就好似毅行者咁，毅力喺我哋部分裏邊好重要。
Beacon Hill on top of Beacon Hill, checkpoint 5. Feeling good? Yeah. Almost there. Almost there.
DW 勝負咧唔係話真係好重要，一 team 人一齊走100公里，咁其實咧成件事咧係好夢幻嘅。
I'm just very proud that all of us stuck together throughout for a common goal, for a common cause. We've stood together and we've delivered what we promised.
And do you think you'll continue to do this event for the rest of your life?
I will, as long as I can walk. My time will be getting slower and slower, but I enjoy it so much. Every year is different. There are so many factors. Okay, you never know what you get until you start doing it.
evening, everyone. Welcome everyone for joining our Oxfam Trailwalker 2020 English briefing. My name is Cindy. Just welcome everyone for joining us. And here today we're going to share some of our important notes and medical tips, as well as some sharing of some Trailwalker experience. Also, we got some information about Green Trailwalker and physiotherapy advice to be shared today. Our section will start at about 11, which is now, till 1 p.m. And then we got to take a lunch break. And then it will start again from 2:30 to 3:30. And just a reminder for everyone, we got different experts. We got a colleague sharing about today's on our event, some important notes about event. We got doctors, we got physiotherapists, we got experienced super trail walker to share all the important notes to you all today. And there is, this year we will be first time using online briefing to all. And you will see a Q&A button that you can press. You can type your question there. We will answer your question in one go after each section. And for we would like to share our deepest gratitude to all the sponsors, especially for our principal sponsors, AI Vitality, for the support since 2015. And they've given so much support and encouragement in all these years. So, and one more reminder for today. Today and tomorrow, from now till 6 p.m., we'll be having teams to pick up the information package today at our Oxfam office. They can pick up our information booklet, which is newly published, and also our sponsorship form, as well as a very nice waist pack today, this year, which is sponsored by Columbia. You can feel this is very compact and nicely designed. You can put your phone when you go hiking and go practice, which is very useful. Okay, so let's start now, and we'll give a time to welcome our colleague, Ms. Brenda Wong, our fundraising manager at Oxfam Hong Kong, to share some important notes of Oxfam Trailwalker and also our health tips for this year. Brenda, please.
Thank you, Cindy. Morning, everyone. How are you? How are you doing? So, before, my part will be covering the arrangements, the details of the arrangement of the event, so that we know where and how and who to do what, so that we got a very smooth and safe event for everybody. But before that, can I ask one question? The question is, oh, it's not going. Yeah. Why do you want to be a trail walker? It's about self-challenge, or it's because the event is popular, is famous? Why do you want to be a trail walker? Do you think of it? Here I would like to share my own experience. I've been organizing trail walker since '97. But I only got a chance to join last year, but I'm not as brave as you guys because I only joined the French one, which is a much easier one. It's I think 2/3 easier than the Hong Kong one. And my feeling about the event after completing it in I think about 28 hours, 50 something minutes, also 100K. So my feeling is about commitment. Commit to yourself, to your team members, and to your sponsors. And then you have a goal, a common goal between all of these people. And you have to keep on saying, never give up, never give up. Because things will happen. For us, we got 6 weeks preparing for the event. So primarily it's about doing the practice at the trail. And last year, when we are practicing, it was like summertime in Hong Kong, July and August, very hot, very humid, sometimes pouring, and we still keep practicing in the trails in Hong Kong. And then also things happen, and one of the teammates is my husband, and you can imagine what things can happen between husband and wife in a project like this. And so I would say it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of challenges, it's pain, tears, and also things, injury. And at the moment of finishing, it's like this photo you can see, it's very joyful, very satisfying. And I would say it's very rewarding too. So I really hope all of you can have your own experience and have your own wonderful story at this trail walking event. So this year we got the theme "Keep on Trail Walking" because we thought it's a great event for helping people, and it's also a great platform uniting all the good people. So I don't know how you feel about nowadays in Hong Kong last year and this year Hong Kong and this year globally. Things keep changing so quickly and so much uncertainty. And we also thought it's in time like this, we need to do Trailwalker even more than any time else. So we say keep on trail walking, and we hope to have you trail walking with us. And this event, we raises money for doing our projects in Hong Kong, in China, and because of this COVID thing, we've been doing all those programs in mainland and also overseas. And I hope you can remember for Oxfam, it's not just about giving out things, but we try to empower people, as well as we try to lobby for policy changes at national level, regional level, or even global level. So we thought we are trying to tackle this poverty problem in a structural way, in a sustainable manner, so that we really hope as many people as possible to join us. A bit of history, really to make you feel that you are part of a thing much bigger than just the Hong Kong event. And this Hong Kong event is the original one of every event else in overseas. This event started in 81 and 97 because of the Hong Kong handover. Oxfam took over the event, and then it kept growing into a international event that over, I think, 15 cities have been doing this event since 99. And last year, unfortunately, we have to cancel it. And this year we postpone it to Jan next year, and we really hope we can do it. And about this postponement, I will say more later. So we would really hope that you can feel that you're part of a global thing. It's not a local thing, it's a global thing. And it's really a fantastic event for helping people. Then it's about sort of the structure. So it's from start to finish, and there are 3,600 trail walkers. We used to have 5,200, but we scaled it down because of the virus thing. We have 2,500 volunteers, and then support crew, we guess there are like 1,800. So it's close to 8,000 people along 100K, 48 hours. It's a lot of people, a lot of activities. So we really hope everybody, especially trail walker, because you're really the core of the whole thing, to do your part and to take good care of yourself and your teammates, so that everybody can enjoy a safe and happy event together. And this is about what you're going to do. It's 24 peaks, mountains, hills, or whatever you call them. You're starting from the ground level, going up the hills, and then the first big hills is the Saiwanshan. It's about, I think it's about 400 meters, and then Gaigong-shan, Manshan, up to the Taimoshan, the highest point. So it's a lot of work, The single word I hear most about all these years is about trail walker is really, really hard. So even the strongest team from like Europe, from Asia, they all say that this Trailwalker event is hard. So be prepared and to do all the preparation that you can so that you enjoy it more, or to say other words, you will have less pain during the event. And that's really important. And this is about the event date. So the events used to be in November, but in August this year, we postponed it to Jan next year. So the idea is to allow us more time for the preparation, and also for the walkers and for the volunteers to do more preparation. Here, I would like to explain a little bit more. To have postponed the event, we want to buy time to do better preparation, but it's really to change or to reorganize things so that it becomes COVID-19 specific. So I'll come to that later. And as well, we are sort of talking to the government. It's about giving us the permit to run this event. So we are doing all we can to make this happen. And we know that people will have doubt or feel uncertain, but we will really want everyone to do your best, and including Oxfam, every one of us at Oxfam, we are doing our very best to do all the preparation, including this briefing today. And we also want to thank AIA again, because with their sponsorship, all the donation you raise will be used for helping people. Today, I will go through the arrangements. This is really in this booklet, and you can also download it from our website here. So the notes, the first thing is about hygiene, health, everything. So it's really just reminding common things and something specific to Trailwalker. So I think for the first slide, I don't have to go into it too much. But for the second one, it's about whenever you are arriving into the start point, the checkpoint, and the finish point, you have to put on your mask before entering. And you and your support team, and of course, we, the volunteers and the working personnel too. And the rest are really common things like temperature measurement, have your mask on, have sanitizer with you, everything. So we hope you can spend time reading those things. And the most important thing is please do perform those measures when coming to the event. And one thing to remind this year, we have an aid station, and we used to have blankets because it's a long event and it could be very cold at night. And we provided blankets in the past, but this year we cannot provide. So do bring your own warm clothing. And the other thing is because of this COVID thing, there are some quarantine requirements for inbound traveler. So if you are coming from overseas, please do visit this link to check things. And of course, we will check and we will remind overseas teams as well. This is about the support team. The message this year is please minimize your support team. And we used to have teams having like more than 10 support members, but we hope teams can minimize them, like reduce it to 2 to 3 per team, so that we have a better social distancing this year. And these support team also have to observe all the COVID measures as well. About the route, about the COVID thing, we will have more reminder as we we are closing to the event. About the route, it's basically the same as the one used in 2018 from a place called Sai Kung in the east of Hong Kong to the very west in a place called Yuen Long, Tai Tong. The portfolio of the trail again, just to remind you what you are going to tackle is really challenging, a hard task in front of you. Here to remind is people some say Trailwalker equals to MacLeod Trail. We would say from checkpoint 1 to 9, yes, it's the MacLeod Trail, but after 9, we deviate from the MacLeod Trail. So from the first checkpoint to number 9, we are using the MacLeod Trail and following the marker post from M001 to M174. And then the final 11K, we will have our own marker post of OT.175 to OT.195. And I think yes, that's it. So another thing to remind is after checkpoint 7, before arriving into checkpoint 5, that we have a penalty point because that was a very, very tempting shortcut. And that's why we set up a timing device there to prevent people walking past this shortcut point. So if any team having a record there, they will have 2 hours added to their finishing time. So we would really remind every team to practice at the trail, the tank sections by yourself as far as possible. And really do not take shortcuts because it's not safe, it's not fair. And we will have some measures along the trail to prevent shortcutting as well. Rules and regulations, very simple. Four-person, one goal. Finishing within 48 hours for a 100K trail. Finishing as a team, 4-person together all the way, and raising a minimum scholarship of 7,600, and that's really it. And here to remind is, suppose the 4 of you have been confirmed or committed, but if there are still uncertainty, please try to confirm by the 22nd of December. Because before that, it's free of charge. But after that, every change will cost $200 until the 13th of Jan. And if you change after the 13th of Jan, every person will cost 500. So the whole idea is to make sure teams will confirm their membership as early as possible, because that's important, so that the 4 of you can come together to do preparation, to have better communication. So these are about the procedure for changing your team members that you can read yourself. Okay, this year, Cindy has mentioned as well, so you can come to us today or tomorrow to collect the souvenirs and the information pack. But if you are coming from overseas, you can come to our office to collect at the week of the event. So all you have to do is just to email us to let us know, and we will arrange for you. This is about if for some reason you cannot join this year in the end, you have to write to inform us. So if you don't inform us, because if you inform us, we can have wait list taking up your vacated slot, just not to waste the precious team slot. But if teams do not inform us, there is still a minimum donation required. So these are the information. So we hope that you can follow all those arrangements. It's about team number and start time. We haven't finalized yet, but the message here is we used to have 1,300 teams starting in 5 badges. But this year, because of COVID, we will have only 900 teams, meaning 3,600 people, starting in 40 badges. So it's less than 100 people together in a big place. So we'll have a better distancing from each team. So we will announce the details later. Here, just to let you have a sense. And it's about the shuttle to the start point. We have a shuttle arranged from the town from few places called Diamond Hill, Jiangguan-O, and Sha Tin. At the MTR station, the metro station. We'll announce the details later. You got to pay for that. And if you can take, we really appeal everybody to take these shuttles so that we don't cause a traffic problem to the start point on that day, because it used to be very, very busy. So starting from 2 years ago, we have this shuttle arranged. Timing record, I think it's pretty the same as other events. You got your bib and then the chip at the back. But for Trailwalker, we also have a bracelet. It's really to tie the 4-person together because these bracelets are unremovable, just to make sure that the 4 are the authentic 4 members all the way. So display them visibly on your body, on your hands. So I think that's pretty about the pre-event things. And then what I'm going to do is to walk you through the event day. We will go through the checkpoint, and then I will point out all the important reminder. So on the day, On the day, the places would look like this. Sorry. Okay, so this is the what we call the pet tantrum area that we will use as the start area. So I'll go through them one by one. So upon arriving here, you will have your body temperature checked. You've hand in your health declaration form. You also need to fill in a disclaimer form that you have to submit it to us. And then, and just one reminder is when you're filling in the forms, make sure that they are in the right sequence. A being the team leader, and then B, C, D, same as what you have registered before. And for the on-site registration, it's just really about taking a team photo like this, and that's completed. And then after that, you can do your stretching and some exercises and refill your water. This year, the dispenser will be manned by our volunteers in masks and in gloves. And what you need to do is to put your bottle at a distance from the tap, and then our volunteers will fill in the water for you. So it's really for hygienic reason that we have this arrangement this year. And then you can go to the what we call really the start line. It will look like this. It's quite different from previous year because there will be no road closure, So you will have to walk along the pedestrian this year, and it will be cordoned off like this this year. And the four of you as a group be 1.5 meters from other group, and then starting at a designated time. So it's about the start, and this is a recap of what I said. I hope you can familiarize yourself with them, and then do follow all the instructions so that we can all start very smoothly. One reminder before going to the checkpoint. At checkpoint 1, we have bottled water because we are not able to transport big bottle cardboard water into checkpoint 1. So we have to give out bottled one. And we also give out some energy food like energy bar. So for every item we give out, we will have a team number written on those items. So if those items were picked up by volunteers or our workers, then the team number and team name of the team, the worker's name of the team will be broadcast on our website. So it's really to discourage people from dropping things along the trail. Okay, so we come to the checkpoint. Oh, before the checkpoint, still one reminder. Some differences between MacLeod Trail and Trailwalker Trail. So these are the minor differences between the two trails. So I'll come to them later as well. But please take a look and try to memorize them. And of course, when you practice, try to look out for the differences. This is checkpoint 1, which is actually a fishing village in the past. Now it's more like a resort area. So it's very beautiful places. We will have water provided. There are shops where you can buy drinks and have your maybe lunch here. And after checkpoint 1, you go straight from M031 and pass the beach. And by then, by Jan, it will be, I think, no water there because it's winter time. The water would have receded. So you can just walk past the beach and go up to heading to checkpoint 2. Checkpoint 2 like this on the event day. The reminder here is we will have a shuttle going between start point and checkpoint 2 so that your support team can use if they want to go to support checkpoint 2. And then quickly checkpoint 3. The most important thing is a very, very crowded checkpoint, and where we will not allow any parking or loading or unloading at the checkpoint area. And also nearby there is a car park, but no parking allowed. So if you really your support team really driving, they can only drop off things or person, and then they have to go. This is the photo from previous year. So daytime, nighttime is very crowded, many people. So this year we hope by minimizing the size of the support team that will be less crowded. But mind you, it's really crowded, especially in the evening of Friday, because every teams will come together here. And this year we need to keep a distance from each team. So please be patient and try to, how to say, give way to others and try to have a space which is safe for your team. Checkpoint 4 look like this. It's a gate welcome. It'll be it's set up like this, and during the event we'll provide some Chinese soup and some Chinese snacks, and on a first come first serve basis. Here, one thing worth mentioning is this is the checkpoint where we have the highest dropout rate over the years. Every year the same. And why teams drop out here? So you can just imagine arriving here, you've done 50K, and normally at the midnight, early hours of Saturday, and then you miss your home, and you even miss your office, and you want to go home, you even want to go to work then at the Trailwalker. And then nearby there will be public transport, especially taxi driver, and you can call your Uber. And it's really tempting to go home. So the tips here is not to think too much. Just keep going. Then you will make it. You'll make it, and not dropping out here. After checkpoint 4, you come out and you come to a place called Line Pavilion, which is M101. So here is to remind, better not, your support team better not drive here, because no parking allowed it. They can only drop off and then have to go quickly. There will be traffic control like this during the event day, and please observe those instructions on site from our volunteers and even from other government officials. Checkpoint 5, a very small checkpoint by the ICAC staff. They usually serve the ginger sweet potato soup, very tasty. So do come early and to enjoy some. And then you just hit and go. Don't stay too long because it's small, it's very windy. And then you head on to, you come down to a road called Tai Po Road, which is a highway. Here to remind is you must use the footbridge for fairness, but more importantly for safety. You have to use the footbridge, follow the arrows, okay? And then crossing that, you come down to Golden Hill. That would be also called Kam Shan Road. So there will be a traffic control as well. So meaning support team cannot drive here. If they come to support you, they have to park nearby, I think about 1 meter away, 1 km away. And then they walk for an hour to support you inside the support area. This is checkpoint 6 on the event day. Look like this. And for this checkpoint, we have a Japanese noodle rice bowl. But the point is you have to come earlier. So I think it supplies up to, I think, 4 o'clock in the evening, afternoon, Saturday. So it's very tasty. And of course, for this year, we will have the food covered and individually packed this year to make it hygienic. Okay, after 6, you go through 2 famous mountains, one called Needle, one called Grassy. I think other speakers will cover those. For checkpoint 7, my sharing is, this is called the Lead Mine Pass. So arriving here is already like 70% of the trail. But every year on Saturday, I usually come to here with our volunteers to say hi and to say thank you to the volunteers and to the walkers. So the most, how to say, the faces that I'm seeing every year is faces, I would say, of mixed feelings. But mostly it's not so happy feelings. It's like people are in a difficult dilemma or in a emotion of questioning why they are joining Trailwalkers. So because in front of them is the highest point, Taimoshan, and then it's already 70K, very tired, maybe hungry, maybe all sorts of emotions coming out of them. So again, I would say, don't think too much. Just keep on going. The four of you together, encouraging each other, helping each other, is just everything can be okay if you keep together and be positive. And after 7, you go up Tamoshan, and then you come down. Here we deviate. We do not walk the McNichol Trail. We walk a road called the Taimoshan Road, where the cars will use. Okay, this red arrow one. And then you come down to checkpoint 8. 8 is look like this. It's a visitors center. It's very windy, and I think that's about it. This checkpoint 8, one thing is there will be traffic control as well. Support team cannot drive here, and because it's a very how to say a road with sharp bend, meandering. If the road is meandering very sharply, so really don't drive there. And if they do drive, they have to observe all the rules. Do not park it illegally. And for this reason, we provide a shuttle running between Chunwan MTL to checkpoint 8 from 4 p.m. Friday to 11 p.m. Saturday. So please remind your support team to use the service. And then quickly arriving checkpoint 9, very beautiful checkpoint with a river nearby, some trees with beautiful leaves. A sharing I make here is every year, I think maybe I think there are people dropping out from this checkpoint, and you will find it strange that arriving checkpoint 9 is almost done, 90K. But I tell you, also things will happen. So one year we have a walker waiting at the corner of a checkpoint, just him alone, and then I asked him, what's happening to you? And then I asked if are you injured? Are you okay? And then he said, I'm perfectly okay, but just my teammates have all quitted. And then I said, actually, you can join other teams and you can quickly continue and then to the finish point, because to the finish point is still only about, I think, 12Ks like that. And then he said, I just received a call from my wife who said my 2-month baby in the hospital. And I said, which hospital? He said, it's Chunmun Hospital. And then I said, we are going to Chunmun, come with us. You don't have to think. If the 2-month baby is in the hospital, you don't have to think and you don't have a choice. You have to go to see him. And then on the car, we talked, and then he said, he told a story that his wife has been not agreeing to him joining Trailwalker, but he insists, and then he has spent all the time, and then I think other resources in preparing for Trailwalker while his wife having the pregnancy. So you can imagine the sort of tension and challenges they have been through. And at this point of arriving checkpoint 9, and the problems still surface to them. So my lesson and my message is, for anyone doing Trailwalker, please ensure your family, your closest friends, your colleagues, your boss, everybody, the whole world knows about it. And then they will support you to do Trailwalker. Communication is so important in Trailwalker. And after checkpoint 9, this is how we differs from McNichol Trail. And here is after checkpoint 9, you have to turn left to the reservoir, where if you turn right, which is a shortcut, a very tempting shortcut. For those who know Trailwalker well, who know McNichol well, they will know what does this shortcut means, but it's not allowed. We will have measures to prevent people taking shortcuts. So further inside, another shortcut also prevented. And the way to prevent it is between checkpoint 9 and finish, we have a control point where your timing is needed. We will have a timing device there. So any team having missing a timing here will be seen as not passing through, and then 2 hours will be added. Okay. So after this control point, this is how it looks, the trail. We would really want to remind that it's best if you can practice on these final section, because it can be quite rugged, and because after 90 something K, you'll be so tired, and if it rains, if it is in the dark, it can be a bit dangerous. So if you can walk them through before, it will help a lot. Okay, finally, so what's the saying say? It's saying is easier than doing. So it's saying very quickly we pass through this finish line. So you see that these photos are from previous year, but we put on all those masks on the people. So you the same, please, before entering, put on your mask, okay, for the public good. And this year we're using although it's still Yunnan title, but it's a new site where we put up the finish line and the finish arch. So these are the faces from previous years, happy faces, very touching. We have people proposing and hugging, but this year everybody in mask, okay? And we would like to remind that the finishing time of the team is the time of the last member of the team arriving, okay? And then after passing the finish, you have your bib and your bracelet checked by our volunteers again. And then this year, would like to remind that we will not give out certificate like before. The certificate will be emailed to the team, an e-certificate. But of course, if you want to have hard copy, we can provide as well. So we will simplify the procedure at the finish this year because of the COVID thing. So at the finish, we have simple F&B, and then a shuttle services. Of course, there's first aid that we hope you don't need. But if you need some help, we are there. And then we have a shuttle bus running between finish point, and a Yoho Mall, which is next to the Yunnan MTL. These are the running hours, so just make use of them. And unlike before, there will be no parking at the finish point this year. So it's really, really, the message throughout is not to drive to start point, to the finish point, to the checkpoint, and make use of our shuttle or to use the public transport. These are the information of the public transport. You can study, and you better try them out before, so that you know where to find the station and how long it takes further. Okay, and then I have to go back a bit to the checkpoint. So the most important thing is the four of you have to be together. If not, our volunteer will not let you check in at the checkpoint, okay? And then for each checkpoint, there is a closing time. You have to arrive and finish all the check-in procedure before the closing time. And all the information are also in this booklet and on our website as well. At the checkpoint, we have basic first aid, toilet, and at some checkpoint, we have physio, podiatrist, Chinese medicine massage. And then this Theragun is a device. I don't know if you know about it. It's like a mechanical device for massaging your muscle. So for this year, because of the COVID, we will make sure all the hygienic measures will be in place. Like we will have plastic sheets for each patient for they are using our facilities. So the message here is we have so many volunteers helping Trailwalker. So they are really there to help you, you Trailwalkers. So please be kind to them and thank them. We know that you must be so tired and maybe you're not feeling so well. But when you see them, maybe a small smile would be very appreciative. So we hope everybody will be helping each other at Trailwalker. This is the food and water item list. The message here is you have to bring your own cups, containers, utensils, your forks to eat the noodles or that. So these items might be subject to changes. So we will update. We will give you the most updated one in Jan next year. And we have 2 water points between start point and checkpoint 1, and between 6 and 7. These are very strategic points. So do know about them so that you don't carry too much water with you because it's so heavy. It's so much work on your shoulder. So these points, please take note of them and try to plan out your water quantity so that you make good use of these points. Okay, that's really about the event. So here is about some irregularities. So if during the event the team need to drop out, so at the checkpoint, the procedure is you hand in the bracelet, remove the chip, and then have a dropout certificate. And the continuing have to carry with them this dropout certificate to show to subsequent checkpoint. And if the team need to drop out between checkpoint, they need to call the emergency phone, which is printed on the bracelet. Tell us where and when you are dropping out. And for the bib and the bracelet, I think you can keep them or you can return to us after the event. Yes. And one reminder is checkpoint 1, 5, 6, 7, and 9, those are inaccessible where public transport cannot go. So do not drop out from these checkpoints. So meaning you really have to practice yourself, you have to plan everything. So even to plan your sort of the exit strategy, okay? So even you're dropping out, try to drop out wisely at a convenient place. So if only 2 members remaining, the 2 of you will have to join other team to pass the checkpoint. So it's really for safety consideration. And the final reminder is once withdrawn, we hope all trail walker will leave the trail because we will need to, because if the record is withdrawn, then we cannot take care of a withdrawn participants anymore. So we hope, because 1 year a withdrawn participant remained on the trail and then something happened to him, and then it's just chaotic. So after that, we remind teams to leave checkpoint after withdrawing. Safety, so it's in case things happen. So it's really common sense. Take care of yourself, your teammates, always together. have your phone, but ensure that it have battery, and have your torch if it's at night, okay? And then notice where you are by making reference to those distant posts, M001 to M174 or OT.175 to 195. So when things happen, make references to those distance posts. The message is, if anything happened to anybody, we really hope the four of a team can help each other to the closest checkpoint, to the nearest checkpoint for assistance. Because at the checkpoint, we have the medic, we have even the ambulance, and we have our volunteers. So help are there. So if teams can help themselves, and if there are really emergency or urgent cases, then our safety personnel can attend to those more serious cases. So by helping yourself, you're actually helping us, okay? But if really necessary, call us at the emergency number, telling us where you are by quoting the distance distance post number, and then your team number, and then what happened, and then tell us your phone number. For many years, people may not call our emergency phone, they call the 999. But if you do that, please make sure you tell them that you are a trail walker, because we have a coordination. But I tell you, all these years, for anything happening, the organizers' responses is always a bit quicker than the 999, because we have people, we have vehicle nearby. So we hope that nothing will happen, but if things happen, we hope you can have confidence in our mechanism. But of course, if you call 999, you make sure you make a reference to Trailwalker. Okay, now it's about donation. It's important too. The message here is you can actually hand in your donation 1 month after the event. The deadline is the 28th of Feb next year. And these are the ways of making donation that you can read yourself. Here is to make sure you have all your copies or proof of making donation with you until you got the receipts from us. These are the traditional way of handing in donation. You have a form, you can send in check, make sure you write the team number and the Oxfam Trailwalker 2020 so that we can account those donations to your team correctly. The message here is we hope every team can try to raise 36,000 so that you got an automatic entry into next year's Trailwalker. Because Trailwalker is so difficult to get into. We are so grateful for that. And that's why we set this donation benchmark so that we encourage people to raise more money for our projects. So if team, it's not that difficult. I took part Trailwalker myself last year, and I think the technique is keep asking people. But of course, you can do it in a strategic way, because last year when I saw our council people, our board people, our sponsors, I will come to them and then they will give some big amount. But for our colleagues, we will ask too, maybe a smaller amount, but it's also very good enough. Okay, Green for Trailwalker is about our green initiative. I think we started about 2 to 3 years ago. So it's really to encourage team to be green throughout the event. You can read yourself. The whole idea is you commit to be green, and then on your certificate, you will get a special chop, a special mark on your team certificate saying that it's a green trail walker team. So all you have to do is you have to apply to us saying you want to be a green for trail walker. And what you need to do is for 9 things, you do 4 things, and then you post us you post some photos, some videos on your website, on your Facebook, and then you share with us. And I think later on, Edwin, another speaker, will cover more. Another thing is about AIA Vitality Dare to Challenge Award. So if 4 of you are new to Trailwalker this year, so this is an award for you. It's really about the 4 of you applying to enter this award. And then if you win, you got 5,000 in cash that you can share among yourself. And then another good thing is AIA will donate on behalf of the team to Oxfam to support our program. And then the team will got a automatic entry into next year's event. Okay, so these are the details of the award. So all you have to do is really 4 of you new and then really committed and do good training and have visible changes in your lifestyle, in your diet, everything. And then try to convince the judging panel that you are really making changes because of joining Trailwalker for the first time. And then you have to email to apply. So all the information are here. So it's very interesting. I think this is the winning team last year. I don't know. Maybe. Yes, the winning team. So it's so happy for them to win. And I think it's not just changing for Trailwalker. It becomes a lifetime changing for them. It's changing your friends, your diet, your living style. So it's really rewarding, not just for the cash. So it's about, yeah, you can upload all your story on your Facebook and share with us. Okay, so this is the final slide from me. I think the message here is, although I've been saying it's a very hard event, it's very challenging, yet we got a very good individual completion rate over the years. It's it's about 90%. For team, is usually more than 77%. And actually, out of the 15 trail walkers internationally, the Hong Kong one got the best completion rate over the years. So we really hope that you can, among one of them, complete it yourself, and even better, complete it in the whole team, the 4 of you together. And final, I would like to share one how to say, my philosophy is when you're really passionate about doing something, want to achieve something, I would say everybody, I would say all beings in the universe and in this trail walker thing, I hope you can feel you and your team members and your friends, your family, and all the volunteers, all the Oxfam Trailwalker staff, everybody is helping you. Everybody is helping you. So that's why this event is so, how to say, so successful over the years, because we've been able to mobilize like-minded and kind-hearted people to come to this event and to do this together. So we hope that you got a very good experience this year as well. And still one thing on Asian Mouse. If you are this Cathay Pacific, this Cathay CX, this Cathay airline has been very famous these days. And actually they've been sponsoring us their Asia Miles programs. And if you got a spare Asia Miles, maybe probably quite likely this year because people cannot fly, you can actually redeem it as a gift to our programs, so that you don't waste them and then you can make good use of them. And I think that is about my part. And I think we can take some questions. And I don't know if any question from the chat box or.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Just a reminder for everyone, for anyone who have any inquiry about events, some other questions about us, you can please feel free to type your question in the Q&A box. You can share with us, and then we can answer all your questions in one go. So earlier we got walkers, which is asking one of our biggest concern that we received over the past months, which is
What is the chance for the event to be delayed or cancelled? When will be the final decision to be made and announced? That's a very common inquiry from many of our workers. So Brenda, would you please reply
Okay.
with it? Yeah.
So honestly, I would say it's the same question that we've been asking ourselves as well. So the chances of this event can go ahead in Jan, I would say up till now is changing every day. And up till now, I'm still saying 50-50. And why 50-50? Because for this virus things, no one can tell what will happen in the coming. I think we still got like 3 months to go. And no one can tell what will happen in 3 months because things change so quickly. So what our strategy up to now is we will try our best to do all the preparation we can do. So the most important preparation that we've been doing since July is we try to change everything to accommodate this COVID thing so that we are all prepared to press on with this mask on, with this sanitizer, with this social distancing everywhere. So this norm, this new norm will become also part of Trailwalker. So that is the most important thing we've been doing. The other thing we are doing is we have been talking to the government official, of course, the food and health people, and even to the highest level of the Hong Kong government. So you were really trying to persuade them to have this trail event going in the new normal, because this trail event is outdoor, is in the countryside, is people have spaces to spread out. So we are developing a set of guidelines with other trail organizers, and we have shared them with the government. So far, we got very positive responses from them. So it's about, if you are asking me about the final decision. So actually, we got a sort of a contingency plan in place that we completed in, I think, about July. And according to that plan, I think the earliest we can sort of make a decision is around maybe just before Christmas, or maybe we can make the final announcement after Christmas. So it's about that sense, because it's all dependent on this virus thing, and which nobody can tell. Of course, we have a doctor here, and I've been talking to the medical people many times. And I came to learn that, all the medical personnel are so, how to say, cautious. So we know about all these things happening in Hong Kong and to ourselves. So for you as trail walkers, our appeal, our message is do your best preparation, okay? Because when you committed to trail walker, you will train, you will prepare, you will gain everybody, you will get everything you do along the way, okay? And then we just have to wait and see what will happen. And then we, Oxfam, will be watching really closely, and we will communicate very timely. And we will consult people, we will consult Trailwalker, we will consult volunteers, we will consult our sponsor. Of course, we need to consult the government. And we will come up with a decision that will be appropriate to the situation. So really don't know. I would say half and half. And I hope you can share our spirit. We will do our best, and we will every day we give our best, and then we will see how much we can push forward. And at the end of the day, we think we will gain, even the event cannot go ahead as a scheduled. But we still have next year, because Trailwalker is just amazing. We hope it will continue in one way or the other. So anything?
I think that's all for the inquiries for now.
Oh,
thanks so much, Brenda, for your talk.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Brenda, for sharing. And after all, we always say to everyone that the safety of our workers and volunteers is always the first priority of our event. So we keep updated on our Facebook and our website and email to everyone. Okay, so after Brenda's section, we'll introduce our doctors, which will give us some medical tips and some pre-participation examination recommendation. So let's welcome Dr. Kenneth Wu, which is our Oxfam Trailwalker Chief Medical Commander, also the Associate Consultant from A&E Department of Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and also from the Kowloon Central Cluster. Let's welcome Dr. Wu. Hi, Dr. Wu.
Hi, not good morning now, it's good afternoon. It's good to be here. Thank you, Brenda, for the introduction. And also she mentioned about the measure for the safety measure for the COVID. And I think this year is a big challenge for everybody. I'm not going to talk about the COVID-19 preventive measure because Brenda has already talked about it. I'm concentrating on the medical tips and the pre-participation examination for the Trailwalker. Sorry. Always happen when I use Zoom. Wrong direction. Anyway. The Kowloon Central Cluster, we provide volunteer medical support for Trailwalker for many years now. All of us are volunteer nurses, and last year we have over 250 volunteer nurses at each checkpoint and helping the walkers who need help. Just be reminded that we don't provide any massage or taping in the medical tents. The physiotherapists and the trainer, the masseur, they will provide some treatment at checkpoint 4 and checkpoint 8. We just provide some medical treatment. And I would like to remind all the walkers that prevention is always better than cure. So be prepared and train yourself well before heading to the checkpoint, heading to the start point. First of all, I would like to talk about the pre-participation examination for the cardiac risk. Now and then we heard some unfortunate cases happen during training or during the competition. Some people, some unfortunate guys have cardiac arrest during the event. And we never know who is at risk. And it's almost impossible to screen everybody before the event. So we put out some questions, questionnaire to ask to the participant so you can ask yourself if you have any symptoms that might suggest you are at risk of the cardiac event. First of all, the most important one is, do you have any chest pain or discomfort during exercise? And the second one, if you have any unexplained fainting or near fainting event during exercise, or any excessive breathlessness or fatigue associated with exercise. And have you been told that you have a heart murmur in any medical examination? Or if there's a family history of premature death, for example, age before 50 years, if you have a family history of inheritable heart disease, and if you have a history of heart disease or stroke or peripheral artery disease, or if you have any disease which can increase your coronary artery disease risk. They include diabetes, smoking, hypertension, and high lipid level. Or if you're if you are a man over 45, or if you are a woman over 55, we will recommend, if you have any of the symptoms I mentioned, we recommend you to consult your doctor for further evaluation before you participate in any strenuous exercise, any event. Now, I'm going to talk about the medical issues we commonly face during the trail walker. Blister. I'm sure if you participate in any endurance event, blister is almost guaranteed to happen. It's very common and is very painful, and it can debilitating. If you unfortunately develop blister during the event, we normally recommend leaving the small blister intact if they don't cause any problem. If the blister become problematic, if they become big, or if they're going to burst, we will recommend to aspirate it. And then we will put dressing on it. Remember, once the skin is damaged, the dressing only provide pain relief. And hopefully that can help you to finish the event. We use duct tape and some special elastoplast to cover your blister, and hopefully that will reduce pain and you can finish the event. If it happens, the dressing become dirty, become wet, or it become detached, you can change the dressing at each checkpoint in our medical tent. But the best way is to prevent, as I mentioned earlier. But how to prevent blister? I think you need to make sure your shoes are well fitted. And we recommend you never wear new shoes during the event. In last few years, we also see some different causes for blisters. And this walker, he developed blister from the kinesis tape. I think it's just the repeated stretching and the prolonged contact of the taping caused this blister. So beware, this can happen. And also, we see a lot of hematoma underneath the toenail. By the way, these are my toe. And the shoes were too small. And after 50 kilometers, and I start develop pain. By the time I finished, when I got home, and my big toe all looked black. So make sure your shoes are well fitted and not too small. Knee pain is extremely common during the trail walker, and it's caused by either overuse or trauma. At the checkpoint, in the medical tent, we will provide analgesic balm and some painkillers. We see a lot of ITB band friction syndrome, and we're not quite sure why suddenly happened. We see a lot of well-trained walker. They developed ITB band friction syndrome after 20, 30 kilometers, and sometimes we just don't know why. At the medical tent, we will provide elastic bandage to support the knee, and hope that that will relieve the pain and you can finish the event. However, if the symptoms are too severe, and you cannot manage to continue, and you may be advised to quit. We always advise to use RISE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation as the initial treatment. During the event, the medical tent, we don't have any ice at the checkpoint. The physiotherapist will provide ice treatment at checkpoint 4. Exhaustion. This look like, I don't know, what do you think? When I first saw this, I thought it looks like a temporary mortuary. And this was taken many years ago back at checkpoint 7. And it was a Saturday morning. There was a sudden cold front approach Hong Kong, and a lot of walkers caught by the sudden change weather, and they were absolutely exhausted, and they were cold and tired, and they covered themselves in the medical tent. But do remember, this year we don't provide blanket, so make sure you bring your own clothing. Exhaustion, it can be physical, and also during the endurance race, it can also take toll on your mental strength. So try to prepare yourself in different conditions during your training, and that will help you to overcome difficulties during the event. We have noticed the weather is one of the biggest challenge during the Trailwalker over 48 hours. So make sure you have prepared yourself with appropriate clothing and dietary support. Muscle cramp is also another extremely common problem we see. I remember when I first started, everybody said, oh, you lost a lot of salt during the exercise, and it caused the muscle cramp. But more we study the cause, and the more confused we get. And so far, the cause is not fully understood yet. And there's an important message is the muscle cramp is not caused by sodium depletion alone. It's a multifactorial factor. And a lot of walkers, they still think sodium depletion is the cause of muscle cramp, and they take a lot of salt tablets. And we saw walkers came into our medical tent with stomach irritation and vomiting after taking salt tablets. And we do not recommend those salt tablets nowadays. Make sure you have adequate fluid replacement. If you do develop muscle cramp, stretch the painful muscle. And if you are in checkpoint 4 and checkpoint 8 during the physiotherapy session, I'm sure they can help you to relieve the problem. Fainting. We do see a lot of these issues during the marathon. When they cross the finish line, the runner, they collapse after they finish. It's a combination of dehydration and the loss of adrenaline support after the race. It's similar to Trailwalker. And we do see some people have problems after they crossing the finish line. As I said, dehydration is one of the major cause of this illness. and make sure you have adequate hydration throughout the event. And we also see walkers fainted after they consume champagne when they cross the finish line. And so we recommend do not take any alcohol before, during, and after the event. Maybe you can take the alcohol after you've gone home, but when you finish, be careful. We have seen people, they injured their face seriously after they collapsed at the finish line. So make sure you drink plenty of water. And we also want to talk about the temperature-related issues. From our experience, it can be very hot during the day and very cold at night. This upcoming event in January, we are more concerned about the cold temperature. As I said, the cold temperature can, we are concerned about it in January. It might cause hypothermia, and during the day, it can be very hot. It can cause heat exhaustion. So we strongly recommend this year we take the appropriate clothing. Maybe you have to carry it yourself in your rucksack. We don't suggest you to rely on your support team this year. And we also suggest you have adequate fluid and appropriate diet. And make sure you check the update weather and temperature chart before the event. If you feel unwell, do rest in a safe environment and keep some dry clothes in your rucksack. And if you feel unwell, you can change your clothes. If you feel cold, try to have some hot drinks at the checkpoints. If you feel hot, you need to cool down quickly. These are some examples we use. If you are too cold, we need to have some hot food and hot drinks and wrap yourself in blanket. And Oxfam will provide some plastic bag, and that will help you to keep yourself warm and dry. If you are hot, unfortunately, if someone have heat exhaustion, we will try to cool you down as quickly as possible. So at the end of my talk, I would wish you all of you have a safe and happy walk, and hopefully the COVID-19 will be over very soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wu, for sharing. Thanks so much. Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Wu, for his sharing. And so just a reminder for everyone, you can raise your questions and inquiry in our Q&A checkbox, and we can reply all your questions in one go later on. So the next section will be a very experienced super trail walker. He will share some of his trail walking experience in the past year. Let me introduce him. Mr. John Ari, he has been doing the event since 2009, which is for 11 years consecutively. And his fastest time is 16 hours and 48 minutes. And his lowest time is just 31 hours. So he has been doing from 16 hours to 31 hours. How he can achieve that range, how he can improve himself in 11 years. Let me give our applause to Mr. John Ari. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Okay, here you go. Thank you.
Okay, and this is, okay, need to go back to the, okay, good afternoon. I would like to take this opportunity to, just to welcome all of you for this session of my experience with Trailwalker, having done it for 10 consecutive events. Now, there is a saying from a psychotherapist. His name is Scott Peck, and he has a book called The Road Less Traveled. And in this book, he says, the first chapter, first paragraph, life is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It's a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, and once we truly understand and accept that life is difficult, then the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. So how does this translate to Trailwalker? Trailwalker is difficult. That is the truth, and we need to understand it. We need to accept it. Once we understand and accept that Trailwalker is difficult, then the fact that Trailwalker is difficult no longer matters. Because we should think of how do we prepare sufficiently for such a difficult event. So what is Trailwalker all about? The goal for Trailwalker is a team of 4 people. I'm going in the wrong direction, so excuse me. A team of 4 people to complete the 100-kilometer trail in 48 hours. And if you are happy at the beginning, you are happy during the trail, you are happy at the end, then that is our objective. Team of 4 to go through the ups and downs of the event and to arrive at the finish point still in a good mood and to celebrate with whoever has helped you during your months of training. So that is what it's all about. So how do you get there? First, you have to approach it with the right perspective. First and most important, Trailwalker is a fundraiser. And there are many unfortunate people around the world who benefit from the activity, who benefit from the donation and the support, and it changes many people's life. And that is such a noble thing to be a part of. Secondly, it's a team event, and therefore it's very important that you prepare where possible to finish in a full team. And the concept of teamwork as you're preparing can add a lot of value, not only to the event, but also to relationships going forward. Thirdly, we already know that Trailwalker is difficult. It is a serious challenge, and therefore we have to approach it with the same seriousness. Next, it should be fun. Okay, we are volunteered to take part in it, and it should be fun. And we can make it fun if we approach it with the right mindset. For it to work for everybody, it's extremely important to obey the rules of the organizers. And this year is different from previous years because on top of the normal rules, we have social distancing rules which are in place by the government that we need to respect. For you to take part in a 100-kilometer event, it requires that you be flexible. Flexible in your training, flexible in the changing circumstances, flexible in the changing weather. And one thing we need to face this year is that the rules will be different from what they've been previously, especially in view of the social distancing requirements. Well, 100-kilometer event is a challenge. but it will help you to know yourself. I've done it for 11 years and I'm getting to know myself. I haven't quite known myself yet, so I'm going to do it one more time and then see if I can get to know myself better. But it's a really meaningful thing. Therefore, you have to approach it like a project. And like any project you do, you need proper planning, you need proper training, you need proper execution. So when you start planning, if you haven't already planned, you better start planning now. And in doing that, you have to allocate responsibility. You have a team of 4. Who is in charge of your training plan? Who is in charge of the admin, filling in all the forms and sending things to Oxfam office and coordinating collection of documents and other giveaways? Fundraising. All 4 should be part of that fundraising. And we always say everybody has friends, families, and enemies that they can go to for fundraising. And then what kind of support will you need during your training, okay? Maybe you need someone to drive you to the start point of your training over the several months. All this needs to be organized. And for you to do proper planning, you have to decide as a team of 4, what target time do you have for the event? This is extremely important because there are teams that during the event have fallen apart because one complains the other one is too slow, one complains the other one is too fast. You need to agree on such things as a team during your training. You can adjust it as you train, but you need to have agreement on the day you appear at the start point that you have a common goal. We hope to finish in whatever number of hours and to be flexible with that. Similarly, you need to have your fundraising goals, and the more you can raise, the better for Oxfam, the better for your team spirit, just knowing that many people are supporting you. And for me, for the first 10 times I did Oxfam event, when I got to the 50K point, I always regretted having started the event. And I was always thinking of, oh, I have a bed at home, it is so warm, if I could suddenly be there, I don't need to finish this event. But when I remember how many people have supported us during our fundraising, during all these things, then I have a reason to continue because I don't want to let them down. Many people have invested. Thirdly, fourth, you've got your essential gear, which you need to plan as well. And this is extremely important because the gear that you will use can make or can break you. We had our doctor say that if your shoes are too tight, not you may suffer, but you will suffer. If you have gear that, for example, the wrong kind of shorts that with the seam lines that are not well finished, you will have chafing. So all this during your training period, you have to try them and then decide this is what works for me and this doesn't work for me. For your training, you need to know the route. Extremely important. And the route is already been provided and we need to familiarize ourselves with it. Very important. The start point for this year is at Paul and Cook Tak Tam Chung Holiday Camp. The finish point is at Paul and Cook Tai Tong Holiday Camp. And we have all the stops along the route that you need to familiarize yourself with. Why is it important for you to familiarize yourself with the route? So you will know what does it take for me to get from the start point to, normally the first water point is about 9 kilometers. How long will it take me from the start point to the first water point? Why is that important? If you know how much water you need, then you don't need to carry much more water than is required. How long will it take me to go from the first water point to the first checkpoint in Sai-1? So all these are very important markers that once you've done your training and you have an idea of how long it takes between the different checkpoints, then you know how to prepare in advance for this. The trail is one of the best for this kind of event because you have a very gentle start. And the first 10 kilometers is quite a gentle start, but because it's a gentle start in the beginning, you have to be careful that you don't overdo it in the beginning because it's a 100-kilometer event and you need to think of reserving your energy to be able to deal with the more challenging parts of the course and still have enough energy all the way to the finish. Many times we see some people sprinting at the start point, and then after 2 kilometers, you see them bent over, huffing and puffing, okay? It's a long event, pace yourself. The first challenging climb is Saiwan Shan, which comes at about 12 kilometers. Prepare yourself for that. It's a gentle introduction to what is to come later on. And then the next very challenging climb is in section 3, which is Kangkung Shan. Actually, the whole of section 3 has got 2 climbs which are quite challenging. After that, you come to Mount Shan, which also right from the checkpoint, you are climbing for a long time. For some people, it's half an hour, some people it's 1 hour, some people it's 1.5 hours of climbing. During your training, see how long it takes you, see how much water you're consuming. So as you leave checkpoint 3, you know how to prepare for section 4. Section 4 is quite challenging because even though the total distance is only about 12 kilometers, but for us, it takes the longest of all the other sections. How much water and how much food do you need to carry for section 4 is extremely important. Once you reach Gilwell Camp, checkpoint 4, then you have got a series of short sections. Section 5 is quite short, section 6 is quite short, but then that prepares you for the next climb, which is Needle Hill. We all know Needle Hill, and for many years I was afraid of Needle Hill until I decided that I'm going to make Needle Hill my friend. So I trained and trained and trained. And one day, one of my teammates says, it's possible to go from the foot of the hill to the top in 30 minutes. And we actually did it. And after that, Needle Hill is my friend. After Needle Hill, we have got Taimo Shan, okay? And Taimo Shan, the climb starts right from Lead Mine Pass checkpoint. It is a long climb, but once you get to the top of Taimo Shan, then in a way you can start celebrating. We always scream at the top of Taimo Shan because it's mostly downhill from there. But you have to get yourself there so you can enjoy the rest of the event. So your training should be graduated, which means you don't start your training by doing 50K. Start with 5K, start with 10K. And you'll hear more during the physiotherapy session. It's not recommended to increase your training from 1 week to the next by more than 10%. So if you do 20K this week, try to do 22K and not more than that, because your body is slowly adjusting. Your muscles, your lungs, your heart, all these are being trained and made stronger in preparation for the event. So have a graduated training schedule. Train as a team, extremely important, because you're a team of 4 and you will learn a lot about yourself and about the others. How do people respond during adversity? How do people respond? It's important to know how your teammates will respond so you can compensate for it. We had, in one of the years we did the session, we had a teammate who, it took us a while, but finally we discovered that whenever he was at the beginning, at the front or the second or the third, he did very well. But if we left him and he was the one trailing the team, he got discouraged very, very quickly. You learn that during your training. So during the event, we made sure that there's always somebody behind him. And knowing your teammates can help prevent situations that can make the event not a good one. So your training will help with your cardiovascular fitness as you strengthen your muscles. Your training should include both day training and night training. Things look totally different at night as they do in the daytime. And however good your headlamp or your hand light is, at night, the risk of injury is always much higher than in the daytime. Therefore, do some night training in preparation for the time you'll spend on the trail at night. Cross training. Whenever you're hiking or running, you use the same kind of muscles. But over the course of the 100K, you need more than just strong leg muscles. Because if you're carrying a backpack, there'll be tension in your shoulders. If you're using walking stick, there'll be tension in your arms. Therefore, part of your preparation for the event should be both hiking or running and also do other kinds of training, whether it is swimming or going to the gym, just so that your whole body is well prepared for the event. Avoiding injuries. The doctor has mentioned something about this, and in the physiotherapy session, there'll be more mentioned as well. It's important to avoid injuries if you're to complete the event. For us, right from the beginning, the most challenging part of the event was not so much the distance, but the hill climbs. Know and practice how to go up the hills. Know and practice how to come from the hills downwards, because you are actually more likely to get injured going downhill than going uphill. Therefore, be prepared. So make your training enjoyable, but serious. And use your training to fine-tune your time plan, to fine-tune your nutrition, to fine-tune the gear you'll be wearing, and to fine-tune your hydration plan. Nutrition is extremely important because as you are on the trail, depending on your weight, you are consuming 200, 300 calories per hour. And those are calories you need to replace. It is very easy to replace them in the beginning, but after a while, as you get tired, your system is more geared towards protecting your body. So our brain is very efficient in terms of taking care of your breathing, your lungs, your heart. But things like the digestive system, when you're extremely exhausted, is not actually a priority for your brain. So find ways of knowing what food do I consume that can be easily assimilated. Many people start with very sweet snacks, and after a while, your mouth doesn't want to touch any sweet snacks. Know in advance so that you can change before your body starts rejecting what you're feeding it. Okay. For me, I can survive on bananas and oranges for hours. Grapes, always welcome. I try to avoid the protein because it actually takes a longer time to be processed by my digestive system. So I go for things that are easy to absorb and can benefit me in the quickest time during the session. Nutrition is so important that you have to test different things during your training. Do not try new things on the day of the event. It is too risky. Do not try new things. Replenish your energy regularly. So I say that depending on your weight, you're consuming 200, 300 calories an hour. Do not wait until you are hungry to start consuming. So what you need to do is know how much you're consuming every hour or every half hour, and find a way of replenishing your energy every 15 minutes or every half hour or every 20 minutes, so that you constantly your energy level is maintained. If you wait for it to go all the way down before you start consuming, it'll take a long time to get back on your feet because it takes time for the body to digest it and for you to benefit. So we always carry what we need between checkpoints and consume it as we are going between checkpoints. Extremely important. Rehydrate frequently. For your body to work, for signals to go from your brain to your muscles, it has to be conducted through the doctor knows better than me what is conducted through. But all these things, in the event that you do not have enough hydration, then many things can go wrong. It's important to know how much water you need to drink during the different sections. Too much is a problem, too little is a problem. It has to be just enough. And I understand that the body cannot process more than 700 or 800 mils per hour. Therefore, drinking too much actually weighs you down rather than benefits you. So find the right plan for that. Where will your calories come from? This is something you have to figure out during your training. You need to get your 200, 300 calories every hour. Where will it come from? And during the different events I've been in, this is one of the most difficult things to deal with. Between 4 people, for them to be well nourished beyond Needle Hill, so you can keep going, is always difficult. And for some people, it was so difficult to find what they can really use, especially when they're extremely exhausted, because in a way, your digestive system may seem to rebel after a while. Source of hydration, source of electrolytes. You need to be well hydrated, and you need to replace some of the salt that you're losing. Without taking too much salt, as the doctor said, it can cause stomach problems. All this you fine-tune during your training. Know yourself. And obviously, you need to know what will feed your appetite on the day of the event. Upset stomach during the event is so common. So be prepared. What gear do you need to take? Obviously, quick dry apparel is very important, as light as possible. And right nowadays, you can buy so many very light, avoid 100% cotton, because your sweat will add on and just make everything heavier and slow you down. Light shoes with good traction, okay? Especially when you're going downhill, in the event that there's humidity and you could slip and fall. And also, light shoes are important because it's weight you're carrying. Physics tells us that the energy you consume is proportional to the weight of whatever is moving. The heavier you are, the more energy you need. And you make it more difficult for yourself if your clothes, your backpack weighs you down. So carry what you need and not much more. Some people prefer backpack, some people prefer waist bag. Some people come to the beginning of the event as if they are moving house. They've carried everything they could find. Carry what you need to the next checkpoint and have a little buffer. Do not carry more than you need, because you are carrying weight for 100 kilometers. Even if just an extra 100 grams, it will weigh you down eventually. Carry what you need and a little bit more. The smaller your backpack, the less you carry. When you have a big backpack, you feel like you have to feel it. Some people prefer to use poles for hiking. Some people prefer no poles. Decide early, and if you're going to use poles, train with the poles you'll be using on that day. Extremely important. You can have poles and they can be a hindrance than a help if you do not train with them. Make your decision early and decide. For night hiking, some people prefer headlamp. For some people prefer a handheld torch or flashlight. During your night hiking, decide what works for you. Do not wait until the day or the week before the event to make such decisions. Familiarize yourself during training with all your gear and all the apparel. What we normally do is, as we train, we decide based on our training and our fitness, how much time we'll be spending between different sections. Okay, this is important because, for example, based on our timeline, where are we going to be when it falls dark? And to be physically, not physical, to be mentally prepared that it will fall dark when we're in section 4 or it will fall dark in section 6 is so important, so you do not get surprised, and maybe shaken. Always, when nighttime comes, it becomes dark, there's a sense of, I want to use the right word. Yes, there's a sense of, yes, sense of hopelessness. Oh, it's nighttime. Oh, what's going to happen now? And your minds can play tricks on you. But if in your planning, you know that we will be at Gilwell Camp when it grows dark, then you're mentally prepared for that kind of challenge. Also, what we do is we decide what we are going to consume, and we actually make a list of what we will consume during the event. We know that at the first water point, at the end of the dam, they give pokari. So we know and we expect to have pokari there, and also water for refilling. So we look through the list of what Oxfam will provide and decide in advance what we are going to take from each checkpoint. Do not arrive at the checkpoint and start deciding, okay, so many things here, what am I going to do? Half an hour can very easily pass because in the beginning you are quite wide awake, but as the day wears on, your sense of decision-making becomes impaired. Make your decisions before the event day. So we go to a lot of detail as to what we will need and where we'll need it. When we get to checkpoint 8, for example, for me, I refill my water, I take pokari, I get one banana, I get one orange, I have some soup, and all this I decide and have it in writing before I get there. Extremely important. And always I change my batteries at CP8, not because they are down, but because I know if I don't change them now and they fail later on in the next section, it is so difficult. So in the light of the checkpoint, I change my battery in advance. So I decide where will I change my batteries, because you need to change your battery sometime during the night. All these are part of your decision-making process. What kind of food you want? For me, comfort food. Comfort food is easy to digest. Comfort food is familiar to you. If you need to change your clothes, for example, it's warm in the daytime, it becomes cold at night. At some point, you need to change your clothes. Make your decisions. What are you going to change to and when? All this is part of your preparation. And you will need to have enough clothes to change, whether at the beginning, at the end, or whatever. Make all your decisions in advance about these things. This year, because of all the restrictions with social distancing, we have to keep the number of people meeting us at checkpoints to a minimum. Extremely important. Because for the event to work, we do not want to be going against government regulations. So you've done your training, you've decided your nutrition, you've made all these decisions, and you find yourself a week before the event. So what do you do during that week? You are a bit anxious, you need to rest, but you can't rest completely. So what do? You do some light exercise, concentrate on stretching. And if during your training, or even up to 1 week before the training, you have any issues, it's important to get help. So for me, there's someone I always go to for massage. There's someone I always go to for as a chiropractor. There's a physiotherapist I always see. And these people help me to be prepared for that day. Do not delay. Do not postpone getting help. Because if you have a small problem, I tell you, by the time you finish the event, it will be magnified many times over. Eat well during the week before, eat healthy, sleep as much as you can, because you'll be going through the night and there's sleep surplus, there's sleep deficit. Try to arrive at the beginning with a sleep surplus situation. Do not count on sleeping much the night before. Every time, the night before the event, I wake up 20 times just to make sure, oh, I didn't oversleep. Oh, I didn't oversleep. Don't count on sleeping much the night before. Do all your sleeping up to Wednesday night. Sleep as much as you can up to that point. Check the weather forecast. Oxfam always sends emails about the weather during that week. Check the weather forecast, and if necessary, adjust your gear in light of what the weather will be like. Keep in touch with your teammates. Make sure they're in a good place mentally. And don't worry, if you have trained well, you will do well. So on the day of the event, what happens? Every team should assign somebody to be the team leader. And on the day of the event, you don't want to have 4 voices. You want to have 1 voice. Choose a team leader and listen to the team leader. Extremely important. Next, arrive early to register. You will be told your time for starting. You'll be told how much earlier you can arrive for registration. Arrive as early as possible. You don't want to be in a panic situation that you're running late and start off on the wrong footing. Once you start, maintain your target pace. So for us, even though we have got so much energy in section 1, but we decide to go at a reasonable pace because we want to still be on our feet at the end. So go at a good target pace based on your training. Care for one another. Your physical fitness, in my case, can carry me up to 50K. Beyond that, it becomes mind over matter. And over the period of the whole event, among the 4 team members, one may be down by CP2, another may be down by CP3. Care for one another, encourage one another. And that is how you get to finish as a team of 4. Be courteous and help others. Not only your teammates, but other people you may find on the route who need help. And Oxfam, if, for example, your team stayed for half an hour to help somebody in need, and the Oxfam knows about it, they can always adjust your finishing time to take into account the time you finish helping others. 100K event is an event that rarely goes according to your planning. Be prepared to adapt. Be flexible and accept those things that you cannot change. Extremely important. And for you to have the fortitude to finish 100K, it already means that you have that kind of mind of being able to adapt. If you need to adapt to all the social distancing things, we adapt to that. If the weather changes, accept it and move on. Okay, don't fight against what you cannot change. Do not litter, very, very important. We want this to be an event that is also good for society and not to create situations where we are being negative. Work together during the event, very important. Support each other. Do not run ahead to checkpoints. You are a team of 4. Go as a team of 4. It is very demoralizing for somebody who is a bit slower to be left, and when you arrive at the checkpoint, everybody has eaten and is ready to move ahead. It's so demoralizing. Do not run ahead to checkpoints. On the contrary, spend time with whoever needs more help. So what we normally do in our team is that the second fastest person is normally at the front. The third fastest is second. The slowest will be the third. And the fastest person among our team of 4 is actually at the back. And this may change when you're going uphill or going downhill. But always, whoever is slow in a particular section, make sure they're not the one behind. It's very demoralizing. Regularly check your teammate to make sure they're together and they're in a good place mentally, and that's especially at night. If a member is lagging, the fittest member should stay with them. And over the period of 100K, one or other members will lag. If you do all of that, then you can accomplish the mission. And I tell you, when you reach the end, oh, you love everybody in the world and everything is forgiven and it's so wonderful. So wonderful to finish as a team of 4. Celebrate is very important. We always get together as a team. This year, you'll not get your certificates at the end of the event, but it will be sent by email. So very important. And then afterwards, we gather with friends and family and talk about it and process it. It's a very emotional event, and it's good for you to process it and to be able to accept what was your successes, your failures, accept it so you can move ahead with your life. Celebrate with those who supported you. Continue with fundraising. Normally it continues for a few months after the event. And there are some Oxfam project tours that you may be invited to. Join them and see what goes on beyond the fundraising. Keep staying fit by hiking, okay? And there's nothing better than keep Hong Kong green, no littering, extremely important. And if you reach the end, how wonderful it is. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Some walkers will get some questions for you.
Okay.
And let me see here first. So walkers are asking, would you recommend walkers to have training sessions over 50 kilometers, which is like a long distance training?
Yeah.
Time?
Okay. I've done the event for 11 years. And when we started in the beginning, we actually had no clue what we were doing, but we learned as we went along. And it is extremely important that your training plan should be one that gets you to the start point with while you are well and not injured. So what we normally do is our longest training is normally 30 to 35K. But when you have a new member who needs to know in their mind that they can actually do something at least 50K, then once during our training session, we may do that. But if we do the 50K, it's at least 4 to 6 weeks before the day of the event. The longer you're training, the more chances of getting hurt, of getting injured. So try to make your training, your longest training, 30, 35, maybe 40K, but much longer than that, especially very close to the event, there's some risk factors. So alternatively, what we normally do is to break a training session on 2 consecutive days to help us with our endurance. Now, everybody is different, every team is different, but the advice is try not to be in a situation where you have an injury 6 weeks or 4 weeks before the event.
That's good. I got a questions that I would ask John, which is of personal interest.
Yeah.
Most walkers, they will finish the trail in 30 hours plus.
Yes.
You will surely get sleepy. So how will you cope with the drowsiness?
Okay, so what I had mentioned earlier is, you know, the day of the event. In the weeks leading up to the event, you try to get as much rest as possible. As much rest as possible. There's such a thing as a sleep surplus. Sleep a lot so that it can help you to get over the first night without getting too drowsy. But drowsiness will come, and you have to decide as a team, and that is part of your planning. Should we spend 10 minutes longer in this checkpoint? Because there's such a thing as a power nap. And for us, I know a few times we have actually arrived at CP9 and decided to lay down for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, close our eyes and get rest to be able to finish the last 12K. So this can all be part of your planning. If you need some rest at some checkpoint, plan in advance, and you should know yourself based on how you've done previously. But most important, as a team of 4, do not let somebody stay behind and they are feeling sleepy, because actually at night you could fall off the cliff. So be close together to each other to encourage each other and to make sure whoever is dozing, somebody is walking right close by him. And I've actually seen people who are on the flat are sleepwalking. And it's very amazing. But during the event, you see all kinds of things. So just be prepared that there will be situations where you may not have prepared for it. With your training, you can do it. You can do it, so get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, John. walkers, always get prepared yourself physically and emotionally. Always stay together, okay? So thanks so much for Mr. John Ari and our experienced super trail walker for sharing his experience for over 10 years of his participation in the event. So right now it's about 1:05 right now. So we're gonna take a lunch break, and we're coming back at about 2:25, and we're coming back with some other experts sharing how to be a green trail walker, as well as physiotherapist advice on how you can protect your feet and how you can choose a great hiking shoes. So we're gonna see you at about 2:25. Before that, just a kind reminder that you can type your question. You can always type your question in the Q&A button, that you can share your thoughts about asking about inquiries about the event. You can feel free to share that. We're always there. And one more thing, you can also always get our souvenir, our information booklet. And also this year we got a very nice Columbia race pack that you can put your cell phone, everything in it. You can expand it like this, which is quite nice. You can pick it up at our Oxfam office till 6 p.m. today and tomorrow. So details to be shown in our email sent earlier. So let's take a lunch break, and we'll see you back at 2:25. See you soon.
即係參加毅行者嘅角色啦，咁多年啦，咁但係就未知道原來佢哋喺香港都有好多培訓工作。之前都以為佢哋係幫第三個國家或者好多災難性嘅情況去幫助啊，咁今次亦都令我更加明白佢哋喺香港係做好多唔同嘅項目嘅。但係其實樂施會幫助嘅係更加廣泛，即係譬如今日一啲好貼近社會，我哋會去一啲住屋嘅問題啦，有劏房問題啦，亦都有廚餘啦，一啲社會貼近好多唔同貧窮嘅問題都會涉獵到。即係其實佢好多範疇嘅方面，我哋平時喺電視啊或者一啲媒體上面未必知，所以我覺得其實樂施會喺唔同方面都有幫到手。
冇辦法，人生係咁樣，有陣時係落難，有陣時好悶。
我哋咧都即係好感謝啦，樂施會咧嘅即係籌得嚟嘅錢，我哋咧可以實現喺好宅呢個 project 上面。我諗咧未係可能最大部分嘅裝修費，咁但係咧可能咧係一啲租客上面嘅支援，包括係搬屋上面啦，或者維修上面啦，即係咧都係一啲咧都好不可或缺嘅部分咧，讓到租客咧可以住得更加安心嘅。
咁我知道你哋都係幫人嘅時候，唔係純粹俾錢人去幫啦，咁而係真正係帶起到佢哋推動佢哋去繼續努力為自己生活，咁樣去幫一啲貧窮嘅人啦。
咁我覺得佢哋嘅籌款咧，原來俾到好多地區嘅組織咧一啲支援咧，我係唔知嘅，之前真係唔知，好似嗰個做劏房，其實我好中意你哋做嗰啲地區工作，因為其實你真係幫到香港人。
活動咁有意義，我哋下次會繼續幫手做。
其實樂施會幫助我哋推動呢個盛菜回收體驗團好多年㗎啦，咁佢一路都係我哋嘅好好嘅合作伙伴。咁喺資金上咧，佢一路都 support 住我哋去做呢一個體驗嘅，令到更加多公眾人士咧認識到香港嘅食物浪費啦，同埋嗰個貧窮情況嘅，甚至乎佢亦都會帶好多團體啦，譬如學校啦，或者企業過嚟啦，咁就會更加認識多啲呢個地區嘅服務，同埋可以幫到我哋更多地區上面有需要嘅人嘅。
咁啊，今日咧，我哋真係見到咗樂施會喺後邊背後做咗咁多嘅工作咧，所以以後我哋有毅行者咧，我哋一定全力參加。有其他樂施會嘅活動咧，我哋唔單止自己參加，希望叫埋我哋啲親戚啊，叫埋啲朋友啊，大家一齊咧出錢出力。將成件事情做得更加好。
Good afternoon, welcome back everyone. We are back to this Trailwalker briefing, and this afternoon we will have two sections. One is the Green Trailwalker, and then the physio advice. Firstly, we will have Edwin Lau from the Green Earth, the Executive Director, to share with us some green tips. Because for Trailwalker, we think it's fundraising, it's big fun, but it's also for helping the earth to make it a better earth so that we can enjoy this wonderful event for many, many years. So let's welcome Edwin. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Hello, everyone. Hi, this is a great opportunity. I can share with you. Can I see the slide? So I hope you guys are having staying well and staying safe in your workplace or at your home. Okay. So now let's see what are the green challenges of Hong Kong, especially in terms of the waste issues. And then we talk about several major green measures that you should consider when you are running for these trail walkers in the coming year. Okay, so are we really facing waste crisis today? That we have not just the normal garbage, you have more of the disposable ones like the mask. Now, if you look at the waste disposal trend in Hong Kong, which is really going up in the latest figures, 2018, 1.53 kilogram per person per day of waste disposal. And the recovery rate you can see is dropping from 37 to 30, which is disposal is rising and recovery is going down, which is really a challenge. Okay, when you look at the composition of the municipal solid waste, now the major waste composition of the 11,000 tons per day is food waste. The second one is paper, and the third one is plastic. And if you look at these four pictures, you can kind of guess which type of the plastic has the highest disposal amount in Hong Kong. The styrofoam, the plastic bottles, the plastic dining ware, plastic bag. You may many of many of you will think plastic bottle, but it's not. Yeah, let's look at the real data. Now, actually, in each single day, we dispose of 851 tons of plastic bag into our landfills. And then plastic bottle is 139 tons. And the dining ware, plastic dining ware, also comes second. So they are quite half of our plastic disposal in our landfills are single-use items. Okay. Now, there are three key reasons leading to our current waste crisis. There are external and local factors. Let's look at what is the external factors. In Hong Kong, we are really too dependent on the others to take care of our recyclable waste. So in the past, we usually send our recyclable, no matter paper, plastic, or metal, to mainland China for them to process. But the Chinese government say the next one. Okay. And actually, the Chinese government has stopped importing foreign waste into mainland China since the beginning of 2018, so that Hong Kong and all other countries cannot rely on the mainland China as a place to process our recyclables. Locally in Hong Kong, the very needed policies are missing, such as these two: the producer responsibility policies and the waste charging legislation. Both are not happening as a law in Hong Kong now. So this is an issue. And then the public environmental awareness is what is PP. you look at the pictures. This is a normal garbage bin, but you can find there are PET bottles. There are several there. Supposedly they should be put in the recycling bin, but not into a garbage bin. So PET, our environmental awareness is pretty poor. PEP, not Pacific Place, is pretty poor. Okay, so now in different kinds of waste event, you will easily generate a lot of disposable garbage, such as this. You can see paper cups and plastic bottles, foam cups. They are all disposed a lot from every event. And you can see in other big races, fill up with even the rubbish bin, recycling bin, all fill up with all kinds of garbage, and it's so messy. And you can see also generate a lot of the carton paper. And if the waste is happening in the countryside, then the recyclables, if you are not separate them, it will be mixed with the soil and getting very dirty and messy, and you cannot really get those bottles to get recycled. And this is 2017 Oxfam Trailwalker at St. Wood. Are these way really unavoidable? Yeah, actually we can do better to improve at the source. Now, during the COVID-19 that we are all kind of facing now, there's the new plastic pollution. Now we have more takeaways for lunch, for dinners, and then in our urban area, you'll find our garbage bin fill up with our the finished dining wares, all this. And even on our beaches, on countryside, you'll find a lot of disposable cutlery. And in the recycling bin, the workers find a lot of the disposable face masks that people thought it can be recycled and put it into the plastic recycling bin, but actually it cannot be recycled. It's to put it in a normal garbage bin because they are already used and contaminated. And every day, our estimation is we throw away 41 million pieces of plastic disposable cutlery in the time when we are facing the COVID. So all these plastic items, these utensils, bottles, plastic bags, all this, they can last for 450 years or more. They will not easily degrade in the natural environment. But during the time when it starts to degrade in the natural environment, and it will become microplastic. When a big plastic bottle or big plastic bag, if you just let them in the nature, they will start over the year to disintegrate into very small plastic particles, and we call it microplastic. And lately, in this year, in July, a study first found out that even in fruits, in vegetables, they found microplastic in this healthy food. So it is alarming. So when we are attending the Oxfam Trailwalker, we should really think about also the event to be green and not just a simple event as usual. Since 4 years ago, the Green Alpha organization has partnered with Oxfam to push for a green event. So the key action for the Oxfam Trailwalker, we have three. Reduce waste at source, and then to support clean recycling, and then bring your litter home. So don't leave it in the countryside. Try your best to bring it home, and then it will not leave any, problems to our nature. So since 2016, then the Trailwalker cut all the disposable cup and also gradually reducing the single-use cutlery. And for cup noodles, no disposable fork provided since 2019. And then you should bring your own reusable fork when you want to eat the cup noodles. And bring your own bottle. There are many water stations along different checkpoints, so you can refill your water bottle with the water provided by Oxfam. And bring your own cup also for any other type of food, like noodles, congee, whatever. So you can wash your cup and then carry on the whole journey. Now, in all the checkpoints, we have the recycling facilities to accept clean recyclables. So we can put it there, drop in, and then we have our people to take it to the end point. So when you want to put in your drink bottles for recycling, make sure you finish it or empty it. Do not leave any liquid in the bottle before you put the plastic bottle in the recycling bin. Now, recycling bins and green ambassador, we have many, all stationed at the checkpoint to help you do proper clean recycling. If you have any questions, you can also ask our green ambassadors. So, as the greener will carefully monitor to track and trace all our collected recyclables where they end up to. They will not be end up in a landfill. They will be under a monitor to a proper recycling firm to have it processed. So even the food peel, the food residue, we will take it to an organic farm for composting. So collection bin for the food residue will be set up at checkpoint 2, 5, and 8. So there are many small food, snack bars, chocolate, all that available, or you may bring that to when you are doing the waste. But all these food packaging, they are harmful to wild animals and the nature. Please leave no trace in our countryside. Take all those back to the destination, then there will be proper rubbish bin for you to put in or bring back home to dispose. We have to be mindful about not wasting food. So as you remember, I just said, the biggest portion of our solid waste is food waste. 31% of our solid waste is food waste. So try to waste no food. And so there's the new thing called Green for Trailwalker. So what you need to do is really carry out any 4 out of the 9 specific green actions during the Oxfam Trailwalker, and then upload either photos or video to your IG, to your Facebook, then you will have a chance to get certificates of given by the Oxfam. So there are 9 green actions, and no need to look at this. I show you picture. Action number 1, bring your own cups. Easy. Action 2, also bring your own food containers for noodles, sponges, things like that. And then action 3, take empty bottles or cans and drop it into the recycling bins. Make sure you empty those bottles without any liquids there. Action 4, take any litters along the trail back to checkpoint. If you find along the trail there are litters there, pick it up and bring back to checkpoint. And it will help to make sure the whole trail is not filled up with garbage. Action 5, be a green support team. Then what can you do is simple. Do not use single-use plastic, such as styrofoam box, styrofoam container, single-use plastic. Only use reusable containers, reusable cutlery. Action 6. Now, bring the empty bottles from checkpoint 1 in site 1 to checkpoint 2 in part-time for recycling. You need to carry those to the checkpoint 2 from checkpoint 1. Action 7 is don't waste food. Well plan ahead how much you can eat, and then just prepare enough. And if there are any additional leftover, take them home. Action 8 is try to take public transport to the venues instead of driving your own vehicles to reduce carbon footprint. And Oxfam will have shuttle bus. You can buy tickets from them. Action 9, so be low carbon. Eating vegetable than eating meat, you will have a low carbon diet, low carbon lifestyle. And these are just reference for you to have even sushi, you can have a vegetarian sushi. So green support is equally important as when you want to win in the Oxfam Trailwalker. So prepare accurate amount of food, take any leftover food, take home, and reduce single-use disposable product, and recycle waste and turn it into resources. Take away your own water. These are some simple guidelines for you. So act green together with your support teams. Support teams and the razor, they are all in one. So work together. And while we are challenged, confronted by COVID-19, stay safe and stay green. Don't forget. And be a green trail walker, not just for the race time for 40 hours, but for every moment, every day. Then you will be contributing to the sustainability of our planet Earth. Thank you so much. Are there any questions from you? So I can entertain a couple of questions before the next speakers. If there's no.
Thank you, Edwin.
Okay.
We do not have questions for the time being. If any of you have questions, you can type in the Q&A and then we will take it later. Thank you,
Okay.
Edwin.
All right.
Thank you very much, Edwin, for your advice. We really hope that you will take those advice into actions. And because I think if we are green, and we'll be more healthy, and the earth will be more healthy, and the virus will gone very soon. So next we will have Willis Chen from Sports and Exercise Specialty Group. He's a super trail walker, and he'll be sharing with us how to prevent some injury and how to prepare better for the event so that you can have better results and you can enjoy the event more. And same as before, we'll take some questions. If you have questions, you can type in the Q&A, and then we will answer them at one go at the end of Willis' section. So Willis, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Yes, as I'm a super trail walker, it's a long time ago, so it's funny. And thank you for the Oxfam colleagues to organize the online briefing. It is my honor to be here to talk with the walkers. So let's straightforward to the content. Because I don't want to overwhelm all your walkers to an intensive seminar or lecture. So I will just straightforward and try to simplify all the content and try to focus on those things you are interested to know about. So for the first question is, how do you prepare yourself? So everybody is different, because some of you may be not a regular training, and some of you are very regular training. So please, the goal should be from 12 hours or 11 hours to 48 hours. So set a reasonable goal, and it is all you know. And a training notebook is very useful and helpful during your training, because you can make all your planning in 3 months and gradually step up the training and step up the frequency or intensity, and then try to addressing the extrinsic and intrinsic factors. What is this? I will discuss later on. And a proper shoes wear can help you more easy to handle the events, because it's a extra endurance event. And okay, here is trying to show up in the different intervals. The checkpoint from each checkpoint, it would quite a long distance from 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers at least. But the challenge actually is not from the individual. It's from the continuous. It's continuous is from the hill to another hill. Okay. 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 So yeah, we are talking about the demand. So during this event, your body has demand to a lot of the musculoskeletal factors that would cause your lower limb joints overuse, and your spine is enough power to maintain your body upright. And for your upper limb, sometimes if using the hiking pole, it would taking the weight, and it's a long time, it would hurt your shoulder as well as your back. So you will feel very tired on your shoulder and radiating to the back. That would cause you very annoying about pain. So for the injury, actually most of them around 600 cases per year we will receive, and there is from acute trauma is only maybe below 50, but overuse is over 500. So most of the case is overuse injury. And the injury may happen to your muscles, ligaments, joints, your spine, hip, knee, and ankle. So for the injury side, you can see the knee joint is the majority, as well as the hip joint and thigh. It would caused by the ITB, sprain, muscle cramping as well. It would depend on the weather on that year. Actually, if there is a hot year, the muscle cramp will be raised up. If the weather is cold, the ITB friction syndrome will be the majority. So for the statistics, we can see over 70% were lower limb problems, and most of them are including in the knee joints and the ankle and hip. Okay. So what is our treatment on site? We usually to do some soft tissue management. It's very effective and can make you continue to walk and less painful during the walking. And we also do some sports taping and the RICE and as well as the stretching exercise. Stretching exercise here is very effective one. So how do physiotherapists help? We can use the management, including the RICE, the taping, soft tissue management, something like that. But before that, as I'm here, I would suggest you to do some gym training and field training. But most importantly is how do you progress your training? Because if you rapidly from your sedentary lifestyle rush into a very heavy intensity training, it would cause, before your event, it would cause you a soft tissue injury, and then you need to sit for management. And then it will also affect your performance. So before you go to intensive training, please know yourself, try to know about your body, and then do some gym training and field training separately. Field training is talking about walking techniques, how to save your energy to entertain the 100 kilometers walk. So some factors can make you easier to exercise. So for the basically, it would be the training proper techniques. During the walking, you can minimize your sprained ankle, minimize your overuse on your muscles. And then there's endurance training usually, because it is an ultra endurance event. So endurance is important. So if you're just trying to train for 30 Ks a day or 50 Ks a day, actually you still cannot cope with the 100 kilometers in that short period of time. So endurance training can be step by step to fit to the demand. And then the stretching can help your muscles to perform better. And even is already fatigued, you still can, through the stretch, to regain some of the power and some of the performance from the muscles. And the advanced point is over here. Okay, the coordination, proprioception, and the muscle control is the key point to about your techniques. Which stone you are stepping on, when you're going uphill or downhill, how can you walk faster and safe? And it is the key point. And the strategy is the teammate position. Actually, we would suggest the fast one is at the last one, and the slowest one is at the front. And that would be much more better for the team strategy. And the training regularity is the FITT, frequency, intensity, type, and the time. And you need some luck because of the weather, the temperature, the terrain, sometimes is unpredictable, right? So for the tip, for the training, if your training frequency is 3 to 5 days a week, and I would suggest you 3 short distance around 5 to 10 km, and 1 to 2 long distance around 20 to 50 kilometers in between the weeks. And the focus is the cardiopulmonary function. You can train up your muscle endurance and decrease your fatigue time, and the muscle performance in the speed will be better. But if your training frequency is only once a week, I would suggest you slowly progress. From the first week is 10 kilometers, and then progressively the next week and the next week will be up to maybe 45 kilometers. And then trying to, for the focus is slow down your progression time and decrease the muscle breakdown during the training. And why is the muscle breakdown? Because during the intensive training, your muscle overuse and they didn't train regularly, the muscle suddenly from sedentary to maybe a 30 or 40 kilometers walk, your muscle will try to break down and then cause your pain in the following 4 days. Okay, so if the training frequency only a few times a month, that means that you're not training every week, or sometimes you train and sometimes you don't train. Actually, you need to add oil and then try to make every training is below 15 kilometers. and try to prevent the injury rather than you just trying to step up your performance. You're just trying to avoid the injury at this moment. Okay, so for the proprioception, balance and strengthening. Actually, if we are not online, I will ask you all to join into this action and then feel yourself, because maybe 70% of people, you cannot do this action. Actually, you just look at the pictures, you will feel, oh, it's easy. But actually, if you would like to try, you can, and it is not easy. So this one is testing about your muscle reaction time. Muscle reaction time is when you're doing this action, can you maintain a single leg balance in a very unstable surface? Just like we were walking on a stone, you're trying to making a stone in a very low light environment. That means when you are walking at the night time and the terrain is very stone, many of the stone, you need that proprioception to go through that environment. So you can try to single leg step on the dome and then try to keep your balance without your hand, without using your hands. And then how do you increase the difficulties? You can try to catch a ball with your partners, or you can put your ball on against the wall and then bounce back, you catch the ball as well as that, like that. And then we are trying to avoid some improper training. So if you see the the first three pictures, it is the proper single leg jumping is to learn the landing. Because if you are weak, your core muscle weak, you cannot do this action, and or cannot do that properly, is keep your knee in front of your chest. And if you are weak, you can see your knee will go inward. You go inward, and as the graph, we cross over here. And then if you find that yourself, your knee cannot land, and in front of your chest is go inward, that means your gluteus muscle and your buttock is not strong enough for that. When you are going downhill, that would very easy to hurt the back and make your knee pain. So if you can train up this kind of muscle and the knee pain, which is over 70% of our injury, and it would be avoided. So just trying to test yourself, it wouldn't be like that. So the other balance of proprioception training, as you can see, you can stand on an uneven surface. You can do it with a pillow, pose it on the ground, or cushion, put it on the ground, and do it single leg standing, or do it single leg lunging. So you put your one leg on your sofa, and then the other leg squatting forward to step on a cushioning. Also can do that. Point. Okay, and then we can doing some single leg hopping, something like that. Okay, this is a quadricep muscle recruitment exercise. No matter you are doing your gym training, how heavy you are doing, maybe a 50 kilogram or 100 kilogram, and this one also can see your stability of your quadricep muscles. It's about the muscle stability, it's not about the muscle power. Once you can do this, you will keep your balance good and less fall injury or sprain ankle injury during your event. So what we are doing is trying to against the wall and then trying to squat down, but you need to put your foot in front of your knee, otherwise it would hurt your knee. And then next. And the quadricep and core muscle recruitment is another exercise. When you are doing the steps, we are trying to step on one leg and put another other leg in the stairs. We can put another leg in the air and trying to make single leg squat single leg squat. And when you're doing this, you need to hold your pelvis. You need to hold your pelvis. It's just squatting down slowly, not touching the ground, and then trying to stand up again. Yeah, okay. It is a lateral step down. And the hip hiking crew mat is a very useful exercise. Once you use one leg to step on the board, another leg keep straight or bend it. And then when you are moving, you just move your hip, trying to move your hip up and down without squatting the knee. Okay. Okay, there's other stability training. We can see the okay. Delay. Some advanced stability training is the lunging. The lunging usually we doing on the ground, and then we put the back leg up to a stool, up to a sofa or a chair, and then trying to slowly squat down. And then you can see as the first photo, you can hold it there. Actually, both of the base is not stable, including the dome and the chair. Actually, this one is very advanced and very difficult to do it. And then we can progressively to the going down. Actually, if you can't do it, never mind, because we suggest you to step by step to doing such kind of exercise. And then the single leg hopping, as I said before, just trying to avoid the knees go inwards when you are landing. Okay, this is not a hamstring, it's a hamstring training. During your gym training, usually you train a lot on the quadriceps. But actually, if you don't train up the hamstring, it would easy to cause your knee injury because it is not balanced. If you just train up the front part of your legs, you need to also train up the back of your legs. And it is because of the proportion, the front and the back, it should be balanced on the force. Okay, this is dynamic agility. Is the single leg just lateral bouncing, and then we can land on the right leg and then jump into left side slowly, and then landing, and again. We can trying to increase the difficulties by the distance. Initially we can jump small steps, and then we're trying to jump bigger and bigger step, and then we increase the speed. Once you increase the speed, the difficulties will be rise a lot. So just make sure you are not doing in one time. You need to separate into a few weeks to doing this kind of exercise. And then the single leg hopping to us, as well as it is advanced one to control. When you are jumping, you jump different direction one by one. Okay, it is a combined training on both on your trunk core stability as well as your knee power. Okay, and then the body control and the stabilization is jumping different direction in different steps and different distance. Okay, so we are trying to progressively to do it. Okay, let's go back to some more information. Is injury preventable? Actually, yes, because the injury is because of many factors, as you can see here. So the intrinsic factor is our oval circle, the nutrition, the endurance, power, flexibility, and the previous condition, psychological knowledge about that. That's one is we can control and we can train up by ourselves. The extrinsic factors, just like the environment, the weather, we cannot control. We just can minimize the factors affecting your performance. So what we are going to do is to control the extrinsic factor. We cannot. And then we need to aware on the temperature, humidity, the trail surface, the lighting, footwear, hiking pole, etc. But the intrinsic factor, the foundation is, besides the balance, the core control stability is important. And what we can make our performance better and walking faster is the technique and the foot placement. The foot placement is talking about when the road is there. You will step on the mud, you step on the stone, or you will step on the side, on the grass as well. So it depends on your experience and your coordination. If you coordination well, you can step on it within maybe 0.5 seconds and then you move the legs to another one. But if you are not agility well, sometimes you step on it 1 second, 2 seconds, and then you move your legs. It will increase the energy and increase the risk of your injury. So it depends on yourself, not trying to train up yourself. It's just trying to know yourself, which level you are in, and then try to make it perfect as at your level. Because it takes time and experience to train up your techniques. So what we recommend, we will suggest you to stretch the muscles. Actually, most of the people doing not correct stretching techniques. But for today, as the time is limited, I didn't talk about it point by point. And then the water break, you need to know every 15 minutes, I would suggest you to take some water. Actually, 1 mouth of water is around 50 ml of water. So just frequently to trying to make your water supply, it will decrease your muscle cramping, the risk. And the speed, you should do it slow and steady. Once you feel very powerful in the first 20 kilometers, but the following 80 kilometers, you feel exhausted. That is not favorable. So just trying to keep it slow and steady and save your energy at the first 50 kilometers. And then use all your energy at the later 50 kilometers. Because the later part is, the trail is much more easy than the first 47 kilometers. And make your daily stretching. Because during your stretching, your muscle can absorb a lot of nutrition inside your muscles. It would make your muscles can work more and longer. So keep doing the daily stretching exercise. Okay, and the support team as well. Avoid rapid increase your training intensity. That means when you are training, you want to trying to test your own limit, and then you just train double loading on 2 weeks, and then it would be a little bit over, and then stretch more and the proper footwear and insole. Okay, let's talk about some choice of shoes. Actually, the shoes, the function is absorption, stability, and the propulsion. And we see we will have the neutral, high arch or flat feet. We are not going to correct at this moment because correcting a flat feet or high arch, it takes half year or maybe 2 years. So at this moment, you're trying to support your own feet. If this is already a flat feet, you just need to don't try to buying a high arch footwear to support your flat feet because it would add on extra pressure and make your feet very discomfort. So on your flat feet, you need to test in when you're buying the shoes. Once you step on it, it will very, very comfort. That is enough. And do not buy a high arch shoes for the flat feet people. But for the high arch, you need to make a very good choice on your high arch shoes because during the 100 kilometers walk, your foot, the ligaments will be fatigued and the foot arch will collapse. So if you have a very good support, it would make you easier and longer to walk easier. So it's very different from when you are choosing running shoes in marathon because a marathon is 42 kilometers, right? But here is talking about 100 kilometers walk. So the choice of shoes is different. So as you see, your left-hand side photo is a flat feet, and the right side is a normal one. And if you're flat feet, actually, if a long time since you're born, you will see your foot already angulated if you're looking at from the back. So sometimes your usual shoes will adapt on it. It would not making extra pressure on your ankle joint, and it will not make your inflammation. So please, when you are walking during the event, do not use a new shoes. Do not use a new shoes. Okay. So for the high arch, your ankle will tend to inverted. That means your sole will facing inwards, and then you need to correct it. And when you are stepping on it, you still need to test your new shoes is comfortable during the walking. It's just simple. Yeah. So for the shoes, some people like some running shoes because it's lightweight. In Hong Kong Trail, actually the road condition and the terrain, actually, if you are enough techniques, our running shoes can go through all the 10 sessions. As I am, no change any shoes during the event. But some of you, if you have some special need, you need to base on your own ankle condition to change into some boots. Because some very rocky terrain, you need to use ankle protection boots to walk, even that is a little bit heavy. Okay, so some trail shoes have a very good gripping power on the ground. Yeah. Remember, don't wear new shoes. If you choose not proper shoes, what is the result? Is you get a blisters. And the blisters is some very big and full of water. And sometimes it's 3 or 5 blisters at one time. And you never experience, because during the walk, your foot will sweat and make your shoes wet, and it would very sticky and trying to rub, and your shoes sometimes is a little bit better, and then your foot inside the shoes will be rubbed again and again and again and again. 1 or 2 hours is okay, 5 hours is not okay, 10 hours is horrible, and then you will find that it's your foot very painful. After you remove your shoes, oh, that blister is there. So trying to handle the blister, do not punch it. Do not punch it until you see the medical profession. They will help you to fix and trying to protect it, and it would speed up your recovery, because the blister, if you tear off the skin, it would take around 4 weeks to be healed and very easy to get infected. So just trying to avoid. Sometimes some people say, how about Vaseline? Is it Vaseline help? Yes, it helps. And do not wear double socks. Do not wear double socks. It would just increase the friction and increase the tightness when you put on your shoes. So just be fit, it's okay. So some second skin it can protect. And so before the event, the field training is important, because you can test your joint on your skin will become have blister or not. Some blister is between your toes. It's very difficult to handle. So you can buy some second skin just to protect your toes, protect your pressure points like this. So some gel pad is as well as it can help you before, but make sure you apply it on your dry foot and before you walk, and try before the event, because once you try anything new during the event, it would be a nightmare. Okay. So the plantar fasciitis we talk about very common when during the walking. Oh, how about if my heels pain? Most of the plantar fasciitis is not plantar fasciitis. You feel your ankle pain actually is not a plantar fasciitis. It's a bursa. It's a waterbed inflamed over your ankle. That's when you are getting painful during the morning. The first step you step on the floor at the morning is very, very painful. And when you are touching your heel, it's very, very painful. It's all more on the medial aspect. And then that is most likely is the bursitis, the ankle bursitis, rather than the plantar fasciitis. Because the plantar fascia is made from the collagen fiber, is very, very tight and non-elastic. That means if you want to injury on the plantar fascia is quite difficult to make it injury. But once you get the plantar fasciitis, that means you got inflammation and the pain will sustain maybe 2 to 4 days or even a month. So you need to handle it as soon as possible. So trying to decrease your loading, that means you need to correct your insole. It's not about the soles, it's about the insole. The absorption power is not enough. And then maybe you always step on a hard rock so many times, maybe 1,000 times in the training, and it will cause your plantar fascia is inflamed. So the plantar fascia, the function is trying to maintain the foot arch is from the calcaneum base over here and to the metatarsal base. And the painful is over the circle area, that is the plantar fasciitis. And that's what I'm talking about, the water bed, the bursa. The bursa is a closed system and filled with fluid to decrease the friction between your skin and your tendon. But most of the chance you get inflamed is this bursa. Yes, but this is the lateral side and this is the medial side over the down graph here. Yeah, the red one is your artery and the yellow one is your nerve. So what we can help the plantar fascia or the bursitis, we can doing some taping to maintain, give you extra support on the foot arch. It would decrease your stretch to the plantar fascia, and then it would decrease your pain. And the ice pack is also very important. Okay, so what should I do if I have a plantar fascia? Before that, I would suggest you to test your footwear and adjust your insole. It can decrease 90% of your ankle pain before you go into the trail. And then train up your muscle endurance inside your toes, inside your ankle, because your ankle have 4 layers of muscle. And then we have 12 muscles. Actually, we can keep stretch and strengthen up. And you can use the towel, put on the floor, and then try to grip slowly, one by one by one, and then do it maybe 10 to 12 times, and every day to do it. You can train up your insole muscle. It can protect your foot arch and increase endurance during the walking. Okay, and the secondly is about the knee pain. The knee pain, usually we would have a front knee pain and the lateral knee pain. I cannot talk too many over here because it's quite boring. So just go fast so we can see. The knee pain is caused by the lateral side. I have to talk about is the iliotibial band flexion syndrome. And the symptoms, how do you know you are in the ITB flexion syndrome? Because it's making step. When you're making step 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, it would become rub and rub and rub against the bone. And the iliotibial band is a collagen fiber which is non-elastic and rub again, and it would inflammation. It would become inflamed and swollen and pain. Once it would, the pain area is over the circle areas. When you are making step, bend your knee and strip your knee, just walking step by step, and then you will have the chance. Everybody have the limits. Somebody is walking 1 or 2 hours. Somebody is walking 5 to 6 hours. Once you do not exceed your own limit, it will not pain. So ITB flexion syndrome usually happens in the running, is the runner, a long distance runner. And secondly is the long distance hiker. Okay, the symptoms is unable to bend and extend your knee joint. For example, when you're walking stairs, you need to keep your knee straight during your walking stairs. And then when you bend your knee, the pain will goes up very rapidly. And after you bend your knee over 90 degrees, the pain is gone. disappear. And then when you fully stretch your knee, it will no pain. When you bend your knee over 90 degree, no pain. Just in between and the degree from maybe 20 degree to 60 degree, the pain is the most severe. Okay, so what should I do? You need to stretch your quadricep first, and then you stretch your gluteus muscle. That means stretch your muscle over your buttock, and then keep stretching during the walking. It can improve your ITB symptoms as long as you can. And then the proper shoes wear, especially for the fit people. Okay, so the ITB, is this work? It works around 15 years ago, but nowadays this one is not work. But actually, the principle is we need to massage the muscles over the lateral aspect of our thigh. Actually, the lateral aspect of our thigh, there are no muscle over there. It's just quadricep muscle, the lateral part of the quadricep muscles. So what we are doing is we do some stretching. Is more effective than doing the foam rolling. Okay, the stretching exercises. Oh, it's me. Actually, it's a long time ago, which I made 16 hours that year. Actually, which legs I'm stretching? Actually, this picture is showing I'm stretching the front leg. I'm stretching my quadricep muscle. No, it's a hamstring muscles. And also stretching my latissimus dorsi. Actually, the guidelines of stretching is important. It should be slow and steady. Just keep it there. 15 to 30 seconds at least. Otherwise, it would just no effect or very less effect. And avoid overstretch. Do not stretch it until you very, very, very painful. Just touch the pain or a little bit pain and sustain there for 15 to 30 seconds. And then repeat every 2 to 4 times a day. So during the walk, you can repeatedly doing this, and it would elongate your muscle use maybe a longer time and replenish some nutrition inside the muscles. So the field training is another main point is you need to not just train up in the gym, not just walking stairs in around your home or office. You need to see when you're walking in the trail, your walking pattern. You can train up the foot placement. You can see your own agility and the proprioception and eccentric control training. So the training or versus the overuse. If you train more, it would be overused, or you train less, is not enough. So the training is considering 4 factors: is the frequency, intensity, type, and the time. So I cannot give any recommendation over here because different people have different regime. Okay, so the post-training care, because after each time you're training, you need to care your muscles. Massage, is it effective, or you take a hot bath or something like that, and you can see the terrain have different steps. It would be a slope, it would be a small step or big step. It would all using your different muscle part. So it's the trail is using, and then your body build. If you are a taller man, the big step become a medium step. But if you are short people, the big step will become a very big step. Okay, so it would cause your another leg overstretch or bend a lot. You can see the right pictures. You can see your knee position when you're making the step. It would bend too much and use a lot of the muscle energy. If you want to save your energy, you can walk at the sideway, the side to another step before you make a straight big step down there. Okay, so some gluteus exercise suggestion. You can doing some hip gluteus muscle training. You can doing some hip extension training, wall against wall exercise, and the proprioception training, something like that. Okay, so it is a crab walking, gluteus medius training, nordic hamstring training. Okay, the principle of training is overloading principle, specific the principles. It is talking about when you overload training your muscles, it would become stronger and stronger. It's easy to understand. And then the exercise training section is warm up, maybe 20 minutes. And the endurance training, it depends on your own tolerance, and cool down should be 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so it's, the optimal training shown is from your VO2 max is 60 to 80%. So it is theory. Okay, so before the event, remember you're trying to avoid your injury and doing some proper stretching techniques. And we have our on-site physiotherapy support. If you have any problem, we are at the checkpoint 4 and the checkpoint 8. We will have the physiotherapy support. And please come to us, and we're trying to fix it, your problem and make you can continue to walk. So gentle massage, is it helpful? Actually, it's helpful. But after you walking again, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, it will resume again the problem. So before the walk, after long rest, make sure you stretch your muscles and take some water break, but not longer than 15 minutes, within 15 minutes, and slow and steady. Okay, so it is a summary as I talked before. Okay. So it is some summary. Listen to your body to know your energy, to know your power, to know your energy, to know your body, trying to avoid and trying to enjoy and complete the walk with your teammates. Okay, thank you.
Although we don't have question there, maybe I can ask on behalf of the participants. One question actually is my questions. What about before the event? I already have knee pain. Every time I go down the steps, what can I do? Should I quit the event, or what can I do to remedy?
Actually, if you you no need to quit your event, because if you can fix your knee problem before your event, and then the most important thing is what is your knee problem? You still don't know that. You still cannot tell me, because your knee problem can be a joint problem, can be a cartilage problem, can be a muscle imbalance problem. So where before we going to training, try to fix the pain, and it's maintain a pain-free training. And once you can experience, oh, it can be pain-free, but maybe it's sustained 1 hour. And 1 hour later, I got pain again. You just tell your therapist, and they would tell you how to cope with that. Definitely, our aim is make you pain-free walking rather than just just think about quit. Yeah, because you know the knee pain can be anterior pain. Anterior pain can cause by bone for the cartilage and for the muscle enough. Not enough power or something like that. So or maybe soft tissue, some tightness. So before you trying to think about quit, try to understand your problem and then try to fix it. And then because we experience a lot, it can be fixed.
That's really useful. So meaning to find out the reasons of the pain.
Yes.
Okay.
And then check it.
So do we still have? Okay. If not, I think thank you very much, Willis. That it's just one question now. Okay. So thank you very much. We will have all these uploaded onto the YouTube later. So thank you very much. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Hope you all have a long weekend. Thank you. Just one reminder that you can still come to our office today until 6 o'clock, and tomorrow from 10 to 6 to collect the souvenirs and the waistband and some information booklet and poster. And then if not, we will see you on the day, and we will have all these briefing and materials uploaded onto the website and the YouTube. You can review them and then try to do good practices and good preparation for the event. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and enjoy the long weekend. Thank you.